What's up, everybody? It's been a little bit since I made a video. I've been doing a lot of traveling, been doing a lot of business, been doing a lot of creative work, working on my businesses. In today's video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how you need to design your life if you want it to be what you want it to be. A lot of people, they might have goals of where they want their lives to be, or what they want to create for their lives, or what they want to be able to do financially. But the problem that they keep running into is that they never get any of those goals accomplished. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some information on what I utilized, what my wife and I utilized to transform our lives over the years, now going on 36 years in business. But also I'm gonna share with you something that when I think about it, it was incredible. It was totally incredible. This was something that my wife and I accomplished that probably some of the top real estate agents would have a hard time doing. Maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna share with you how we were able to purchase a bank building that was owned by the bank still, so they don't owe any money. They own the building, or they used to own it, for $450,000 less than what they were asking. But that's not the accomplishment. That's not the accomplishment. I mean, that's part of it. But I'm going to go through the thinking process, how I transformed something in my mind that made the whole transaction happen. So, but first, what I want to talk about is I want to go through the income that is being earned by us big United States of American citizens, which I'm proud to be a citizen of the United States. You can see me, I was in the United States Army, so I took it to another level. Was in there when I was 18 years old to the age of 20 for only 2 years, but I did sign up and serve. So now, we have so much information out there. We have access to technology. But incomes, for individual incomes, you will probably be shocked when I tell you the percentages and how much, where people lay, how many people are in those percentages of income or what they're earning. So from the 2023 U.S. household income distribution from the census, 32.3% of households earn under $50,000 a year. I'll repeat that again. 32.3% of households earn under $50,000 per year. 28.8% earn $50,000 to $99,900 per year. 17.4% earn $100,000 to $149,900 per year. And most of those are combined income. So if you were just to split it down the middle, most people are earning individually about $75,000 of those higher income earners. And of the percentages of the households that are 30 of the 32%, a lot of those are two income households. 9.1% of percentage of earners earn $150,000 to $199,000 a year, and 12% earn $200,000 or more. Now, here, this is going to be the shocking facts, though. You want to hear something that is shocking, that will probably you saw. I just told you the amounts that people are making. But of the people with money in the bank, this is going to shock you. This is going to shock you. So grab hold of your chair, because when I tell you this is going to shock you. So are you ready for this? This is with all of those different income levels. Let me tell you how much money people have in the bank from those levels. 60% of U.S. adults have less than $1,000 in the bank. $1,000. And 14% of Americans, only 14% have 10,000, and the vast majority in between of the rest of the people have $1,000 to $5,000. So with all of that income, regardless of what level they're on, we have a huge problem with people being able to hold on to their money. Now that's for another video, but I wanted to lay that out there. Because no matter what you're trying to do, if you're trying to save money, you're trying to increase your income from a business, trying to start a business, or you're trying to be make more money from the job that you're working at, is that you got to get it in your mind. You got to have a transformation in your mind, because it has to happen in your mind first before it's going to materialize in your reality. Another thing that you need to keep in mind is that if you don't feel good about yourself, it doesn't matter what information you get. It doesn't matter what teacher comes your way, what mentor comes your way, what consultant comes your way. You are going to fail. That is a fact. If you don't feel good about yourself, you will do something to fail where you won't even get started. And then if you are successful, you will do something to sabotage yourself. I'll repeat that again. If you don't feel good about yourself, you will not even be able to start the transformation in your life. And then if you're lucky to get to a place in your life of what you've dreamed about, and then you don't feel good about yourself, you will sabotage yourself and destroy everything that you created. And some people even destroy their own lives. So what we have to do, the secret, if there is a secret, it's a secret in plain sight. What we have to do as individuals is we have to transform ourselves. How do you transform yourself? You have to transform your thinking process. So now I'm going to go into how my wife and I convinced a bank that owned the bank building, that was one of their locations, how we purchased it from them for $450,000 less than what they were asking for. The first thing that I did, let me tell you the first thing that I did, is I had this thought in my mind that I wanted to have a bigger location for one of my businesses. That was the first thing that came to my mind. I did not know any locations. I didn't know about any places. I didn't know about anything. And as a matter of fact, real quick, I've done this twice. I own 2 commercial buildings, and the first thing that I did is I put it in my mind of what I wanted. When I put it in my mind of what I wanted, guess what ended up happening? I ended up driving down a street on the way home that I would never drive down. Just took a different route, and guess what I saw? I saw this building here, the bank building, with a sign. No, it didn't even have a sign for sale. It just was empty. And so we contacted them to see if it was for sale, and it was for sale. Or maybe it did have a sign. I'm not sure. It's been a little while. But let me tell you what I did before we knew what the price was, and we had an offer on the table. But let me tell you what I did in my mind on what I started doing with my body. Because remember, I said you got to start feeling good. If you start feeling good, the body will follow. Let me tell you what I did. Every day to work, instead of driving straight to work to my other office building, I drove to this office building. I didn't own the building. It was just an empty building. But guess what I did? I started practicing driving to this building. I would drive, and there's a spot to U-turn on the road. I did that every day. Guess what started happening from that is movement started to happen with the negotiation process. And something also strange happened is that everyone else that was interested in the building seemed to disappear. And the reason why I believe that happened is because I took ownership in my own mind that this was going to be our building. I took ownership, and the universe started to materialize and move everything in the direction of this being our building. So I would drive to work, envision myself, and then I even started taking it further as I started envisioning myself in this office. This is the office that the president of the bank would have. And so I started picturing myself in that office. What's the next thing I started doing? I started picturing what I was going to have in the office. In front of me, I have 2 TVs. I have one on the stock market, one on the news every day. I started picturing myself turning on my TVs. I started picturing myself. I have this bookshelf that has a whole bunch of books that I've read and different materials that I've produced. And I have on top of there pictures of my family, my grandkids. I was picturing that in my mind. This stuff that you see back here, I was picturing that in my mind. I was like, what am I going to put on the wall behind me? I was already picturing that. I was already building a reality of what I was going to be in. I was building that. I was already building how I wanted the desk for my employees to be sitting. The type of that I wanted it to be open. I didn't want it to have sectioned off offices. I wanted everyone to be able to see everyone. And how I wanted the desk and how I wanted the computers. For the downstairs, the same thing. The desk and the computers. Desk, computers. Even for the kitchen area, how we wanted to have a certain type of refrigerator. And we wanted to have a certain type of microwave that would be able to cook meals. Like, went into all of those details. Even the color of the carpet. Even where I have my own parking space where it was no one else can park there, it was my parking space. Now, I was doing all of that in my mind before we had an accepted offer. And remember, we had to get over the hurdle of the building where they wanted $650,000 and we wanted to offer $200,000. A bank has all the money. They can hold on to, as long as they want. They're paying the taxes. The taxes wasn't too much, for a bank. So I believe, and this is what I'm suggesting to you, is that if you start to put in your mind what you want and you run it like a record every day, you will get either accomplish it fully depending on how invested you become in your own mind, or you will get to have a huge leap of improvement of from where you started. And I know that deep down, I believe that. Like everything that I do for my businesses now starts with, number one, do I really want to? That's what you got to do first, is do you really want to do what you want to do? Because that's what really stops people, is that people are not really doing what they want to do. If you do what you want to do, how can anyone stop you? Seriously, if you are doing what you want to do, how can anyone stop you? And if you're doing what you really want to do, wouldn't you be able to figure out how to make it work? So my homework for you, it doesn't matter if you're a business owner, if you work for someone, if you're looking at starting a business, or you're just trying to improve your life on whatever level, on a personal level, or improve your relationships. You need to start picturing how you want that to be. And if you picture how you want that to be, you will see the changes start to come into your life. What you picture will start to materialize. Homework. Put your comments in here. Report back from my suggestions on what you put into action in your life. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams.